Hari Om friends, welcome once again to my Sanatan Dunia channel, your spiritual home. In this video, I shall be giving my commentary upon verses 10 to 13 of the second chapter of the Bhagawad Geeta. For those of you who have not yet watched the commentaries on the previous verses of the Gita, I suggest you go ahead and watch these videos before proceeding further with this video. These videos are available in the playlist titled Bhagavad Geeta Commentary, all 18 chapters. Before I go ahead and give the commentary upon these verses of the second chapter of the Bhagavad Geeta, I have a small request to make. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, then I suggest you do so that you may be updated about forthcoming videos uploaded to this channel. So let's move on. The 10th and 11th slokas of the second chapter of the Gita are as follows. O descendant of Bharata, at that time Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the armies, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. The blessed Lord said, while speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor for the dead. The commentary of the mentioned two slokas is as follows. From this verse onwards, we have the main content of the Gita being presented here by Lord Krishna. Arjuna was in a very sorry state of mind after having seen his relatives in the enemy ranks ready for battle and had given all the logic for justifying his decision to not fight the war. At this stage, one might expect Lord Krishna to be a little serious when his beloved friend Arjuna was in such a despondent condition. But this is not the case here. Here we find the Lord to be smiling in the midst of this critical situation. This just indicates the state of consciousness of the Lord, who is an enlightened soul and master of all mystics. An enlightened soul is never shaken, not even in the midst of a crisis. And in this case, Arjuna was facing a crisis, and we find Lord Krishna smiling and responding to Arjuna. How exactly the Lord is going to instruct Arjuna from here is something we shall see in the forthcoming verses. But we have something to learn here from Lord Krishna's composed and relaxed response. We learn that we should not let the situation at hand overpower us and cloud our intellect and reasoning. And in addition, we also learn that we should keep smiling and keep our cool in all situations that we face in life, like the way Lord Krishna is doing here. Now we shall see what the response of the Lord is. Arjuna was grieving for his relatives on the one hand and was giving reasoning found in the scriptures to justify his reaction. Upon seeing this, the Lord is rightly telling Arjuna that if he really is referring to the Shastras for his reasoning, then the Shastras also reason out that the wise people are unaffected by death and its effects. Here the Lord is telling Arjuna that the wise grieve neither for the dead nor for the living. This does not mean that the wise are unemotional and don't have any regard for human sentiments relating to living and dying. The wise understand fully well that it is the soul that lives and that the soul is eternal and immortal and continues to live even after the death of the body and in fact throughout eternity. They understand that nothing can create a soul and nothing can destroy a soul, as like the super soul or God, the self is immortal and without beginning or end. And as far as the body is concerned, we are not the body, but are the soul that rules in the body. The body is composed of dust and will return to dust upon death. Death of the body is not our death, since we are not our bodies. Hence, there is no loss of any life upon the death of any body, of any creature, in any circumstance. Death is just the changing of the garments for the soul, and hence the wise who have understood this clearly do not lament upon anyone's death. This is how Lord Krishna would like to see Arjuna responding to the situation. In fact, Lord Krishna would like all of us to see things from the spiritual angle and gain strength. As far as those who are still living are concerned, the wise do not grieve for them too. For one who is living today shall die at some point of time in the future, and this is true of all bodies. Hence, once again, the wise do not grieve over those who are living also, since it's inevitable that their bodies would also perish one day, leaving the soul unaffected in any way. So friends, let us learn to look at life from the spiritual angle and gain strength in the process. Now I shall move on to verses 12 and 13. The 12th and 13th verses of the second chapter of the Gita are as follows. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. As the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. The self-realized soul is not bewildered by such a change. The commentary of the mentioned two slokas is as follows. In verse number 12, we find the Lord describing the eternal nature of the self. The self that the Lord is, the self that Arjuna is too, and the self that the other people are, exists always at all times. There never was a time in the past when this self did not exist, as it is beginningless. It continues to exist today as it cannot be killed, and will continue to exist till a limitless time in the future without ever coming to an end. Hence the Lord is saying that when we know this fact of the eternal and immortal nature of the self, then there is no need to feel grief for any living being, because the living being is the immortal self and not the mortal body. In the next verse, Bhagavan beautifully describes that death is also a stage of life only, just like any other stage such as childhood, youth and old age. Death is not the end of life, but rather is a stage of life of the soul when the body dies and the soul moves on to take up another body in another realm and then return to this realm again, and like this continue on its journey until it is liberated in some future life. When a body is small, it is said to be in childhood. When it grows some more, it is said to be in youth. And when it starts to deteriorate and become weak, it is said to be an old body. Similarly, when this old body can no longer carry on, the soul abandons it and takes up another body. This is similar to the owner of a vehicle abandoning an old and worn out vehicle for a new vehicle. When this happens, the owner of the vehicle is unaffected. Similarly, the self is unaffected by the change of bodies. A wise person has understood this truth, and hence he does not get bewildered when the body dies. The enlightened have not only understood this truth intellectually, but have also realized this truth in the lofty state of samadhi, and hence can testify to such an immortal nature of the self. So friends, if we find anybody in our families or friend circle who is growing old and is approaching death, then we should apply this knowledge and understand that death is just a stage of life and is not the end of life. When we learn to look at life this way, then we too shall progress on the spiritual path, and hopefully one day we too can testify to the immortal nature of the self that we are. So friends, here ends the commentary on the 10th to 13th slokas of the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Stay tuned for more commentaries on the following verses of the Gita, and keep checking this channel for updates to this playlist titled Bhagavad Gita Commentary, all 18 chapters. And also do watch the other videos available in this channel so that you can enhance your knowledge of the eternal religion or Sanatan Dharma. And in case you have not already subscribed to my channel, then I suggest you do so that you may be updated about forthcoming videos uploaded to this channel. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great time ahead. Hari Om.